Shalom. It's your man Real. I'm back again. Might want to get you some coffee. I'm already sipping. But I'm just putting up this fair use so we can jump right into proceedings. Alright, this is for educational purposes only. Alright. So today, we're going to talk about... hold on. But today, we're going to go down a little rabbit hole. And, see, I was born in the 80s, right? So, I grew up on cartoons, you know. I used to like the Looney Tunes. And it wasn't until I got older I realized I've been programmed to go down these rabbit holes. You know? Because they like to put a lot of truth in these old cartoons. And yeah, they like to tell the truth with comedy. So today we're gonna go down a rabbit hole and see what we can find. Alright, ready? Let's go. Alright. And we're gonna be jumping into this book right here today. This is called The Curse of Canaan, a demonology of history by Eustace Mullins. Alright. Before we dive in, I want to get the first chapter of this book. Right? And before we dive into here, let's check out the author real quick. We gotta see what the author is looking like. Alright, Eustace Mullins. Alright. So, this is how they talk about him. They say he was an American white supremacist, anti-Semitic, conspiracy theorist, propagandist, a Holocaust denier, and writer. Alright? His best known work is The Secrets of the Federal Reserve, in which he alleged that several high-profile bankers had conspired to write the Federal Reserve Act for their own nefarious purposes, and then induced Congress to enact it into law. So you see how they talking about him, right? Alright, now look at his face now. Remember his face. Alright, I ain't saying nothing bad about the dude. You know, he passed away in 2010. Alright, I ain't got nothing bad to say about this guy, but we're gonna check out one of his books. And it's very interesting. And we're gonna dive into some things today, y'all. I hope you're ready. Alright. We're gonna skip past that. Skip past that. Alright, now this is the contents of the book. If you ever want to check it out, we're gonna get the first chapter today. The War Against Shem. Alright, but as you can see, he's got some interesting chapters right here. And I've dived into a few of them. But he's talking about Shem, y'all. Now, why is he talking about Shem? Well, he's claiming that he is Shem. He's part of Shem. Okay? Now, I'm not the one to tell him who he is. But I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna have to leave your feelings at the door on this one, because he gonna say some things that's touchy, make you feel some type of way, right? But let's leave our feelings at the door so we can pull out the truth. Now, what made me want to jump in on this, because the first thing he said is they sacrificed unto demons, which were no gods, in Deuteronomy 32:17. And we just talked about this, right? Just made a video like a couple videos back. If you haven't checked it out, it's called Towards Your Life, right? And we talked about Deuteronomy 32, man. And what they call them is Sheddim, right? Now these Sheddims, they are evil spirits, and some people call them demons. All right, in the Tanakh, in Jewish mythology, Sheddim do not, however, correspond exactly to the modern conception of demons as evil entities as originated in Christianity. So this is not dealing with the New Testament. This is Old Testament Tanakh. Evil spirits, right? While evil spirits were thought to cause maladies, Sheddim differed conceptually from evil spirits. Right? Sheddim were not considered evil demigods, but the gods of foreigners. Further, they were envisaged as evil only in the sense that they were not God. They appear only twice in the Tanakh. Psalms 106, and then you got Deuteronomy 32:17. And that's where he's at, right? That's what he's talking about, right? So now that we got an understanding on that, we just gonna dive straight in. Now I'm gonna let you know that this is like 20 pages. Alright, this is gonna be rather lengthy. I'm gonna try to break it down, but I'm gonna try to get through it. If I don't get through it, we just might have to do a part 2. I ain't trying to do no part 2, so let's get in it. Alright, reads. In the churches of America, Christians worship a somewhat paternal God. The bearded patriarch whom Michelangelo depicted on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, an authoritarian figure who was also the father of our teacher in our chapel, an authoritarian figure who was also the father of our teacher, and our Savior, JC. Alright. I read that twice, but so he's saying our Savior, JC. Okay. So that's letting you know what he believed, right? This man is a Christian. Alright? Now, we're not dealing with the New Testament today. We Old Testament only over here. But we're going to leave our feelings at the door, and we're just going to read this one, alright? He said, God is revered as the original creator of our universe and as the ultimate moral guide. In this scenario, humanity is a somewhat innocuous group placed in a pastoral setting, generally obedient to the laws of God and subject to punishment when disobedience occurs. Religious observance based on this concept is adequate until the Arcadian scene is disturbed by misadventures or calamities. It also begs the question of innate or inescapable evil. Satan, the fallen angel, and rebel against God. Satan, a Hebrew word meaning adversary, appears in the Bible. There are frequent references to God's admonishment and often chastisement of wrongdoers, both individually and in large groups. Here again, the persistent appearance of evil throughout the history of mankind is dealt with as it occurs, but it is difficult to fix either its sources or its causes. Therefore, humanity has existed under a considerable disadvantage, unable to recognize or understand evil before being injured by it. Okay. Indeed, the great movement of modern history has been to disguise the presence of evil on the earth, to make light of it, to convince humanity that evil is to be tolerated, treated with greater understanding, or negotiated with. But under no circumstances should it ever be forcibly opposed. This is the principal point of what has come to be known as today's liberalism, more popularly known as secular humanism. The popular and apparently sensible appeal of humanism is that humanity should always place human interests first. The problem is that this very humanism can be traced in an unbroken line, all the way back to the biblical curse of Canaan. Humanism is the logical result of the demonology of history. Modern day events can be understood only if we can trace their implications in a direct line from the earliest records of antiquity. These records concern pre-Adamic man, a hybrid creature whose origins are described in ancient books. The Book of Enoch, which itself is a part of an earlier book of Noah, written about, and they're going to say that right there, okay, I don't know about that, says that Sammy, aka Satan, the leader of a band of 200 angels, descended on Mount Carmel. They had lusted after the daughters of men from afar, and now they took them for wives. These fallen angels, known as the Order of Watchers, taught their wives magic. The issue of these unions was a race of giants known as Nephilim. The Bible does not mention the Nephilim specifically by name, and Strong's Concordance does not list them. However, Nelson's Concordance has several listings under Nephilim. The verses of the Bible to which it refers are Genesis 6:4. There were giants in the earth in those days. The Revised Standard Version does give the name of Nephilim the same verse reading. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days. These giants later became known as the sons of Anak. In Numbers 13:33 we read, "And there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants." These giants constituted a powerful menace to other peoples, and Deuteronomy 9:2 is the complaint. Who can stand before the children of Anak? Nevertheless, they were finally killed or driven out. There were none of the Anakims left in the land of the children of Israel. Joshua 11:22. Now I looked that verse up. And yeah, it was none of them in Israel, but it was still more, but it just wasn't around Israel, right? Alright. These early giants will be considered as mutations by modern scientists because of their peculiar parentage. They had habits and lusts which horrified their neighbors. Their leader, Satan, the adversary of God, also known as Sato, was the serpent who entered into and seduced Eve, producing the first murderer, Cain. Okay. So that's something to think about, right? Now, this made me actually go back and look this up. And And what I realized, right? All right, this is the Septuagint, right? I realized something. This could be true. Because if you notice, right? On chapter 4 of Genesis, it says, and Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and brought forth Cain and said, I have gained a man through God. And she again bore his brother Abel. Now, you can't take this lightly, right? Because it says, when she had Cain, brought forth Cain, and said, I have gained a man through God. But when she had Abel, it doesn't say the same thing. It just says, and she bore again his brother Abel. Now, we understand that they're playing with the word God, the word Lord, and the word Lord God. All right? And this is to throw you off. All right? Because in the beginning, it says, in the beginning, God made the heaven and earth, right? Now, we know that's the Most High. They got it listed as God. Okay? But right here, where is that? All right. And then, and the Lord God said. So now they say Lord God, right? So they're going back and forth between God, Lord God, and the Lord. Now we know that they took the actual name Hawa out, okay? And they replaced it with Lord God, Lord God. But some of these might not be talking about the Most High. All right? If you notice in chapter 4, again, it says, I have gained a man through God. But you didn't say that about Abel. You just said, and she bore again his brother Abel. And I looked this up in a couple different versions. It says the same thing. All right? Now let's go a little further with it. If you can get what I'm saying with it. But he's claiming, all right, he's claiming that Eve, right, was seduced by the serpent, producing the first murderer, Cain. Not only were the Nephilim a menace to others, their uncontrollable hatred and violence sometimes led them to attack and kill each other. They then ate their victims, introducing cannibalism to the world. According to some accounts, God slaughtered them, while the archangel Michael imprisoned the fallen angels, the order of the Watchers, in deep chasms in the earth. All right, he's saying Michael did it. I went back and looked it up. I believe it was Raphael that did it. All right? But either way, they got locked up. All right, we got to keep going. It's like 20 pages, so. Unfortunately for humanity, this was not the end of the matter. Satan, through his children, the Nephilim, and also through Cain, had now established a demonic presence on the earth. His rebellion against the Most High will result in continuous suffering and travail on earth for centuries to come. The history of mankind since his rebellion is the history of the struggle between the people of God and the cult of Satan. With this understanding, it is now possible to trace the historical events which reveal the actual archives of the two adversaries. The Book of Zohar stresses the Talmudic legend that demons originated in sexual congress between humans and demonic powers. This offers a reasonable explanation as to why all occult ceremonies stress three things: drugs, incantations, which express hatred of God, and bizarre sexual practices. Alright? So he's saying these are the three things that they stress in these occults, right? Okay. The study of demonology and history discloses answers to otherwise inexplicable aspects of man's history. The torture and murder of children, obscene rites and mass killings of innocents in worldwide wars, as well as other catastrophes and phenomena which bear little or no relation to mankind's day-by-day routine or tilling the soil, raising families, and maintaining the standards of civilization. On the contrary, these types of calamities are direct assaults of the normal existence of humanity. Furthermore, they are expressions of the rebellion against God as attacks on his people. Alright. Let me get a little sip in. Because of their extraordinary powers, demons have always attracted a certain number of followers on Earth. Secret organizations which insist on concealing their rights and their programs from all outsiders must do so in order to prevent exposure and the inevitable punishment. While they were wandering in the desert, the Ish tribes worship demons and monsters. Now you saying this Ish word, right? We talking about Israelites. Okay? Now you see how he's going with it, right? Alright. But we're not gonna worry about what he believes right now. We're just gonna get the information and roll with it. They revered their mythical monsters, he said. Leviathan, Behemoth, and Rahab, who well may have been survivors of the tribe of giants, the Nephilim. They also made sacrifices. Now look, we know Leviathan is the Most High's like pet, right? Alright, I think it's what in the book of Job, and they throwing dirt on his name again. Alright, Leviathan is not a monster. Okay. Now, let's keep rolling though. He said they also made sacrifices to the demon of the desert, Azi. Their mythology developed a certain hierarchy of demons. A demonarch, who presumably was Satan, ruled over all demons on earth. Alright? He was also known as the Prince of Evil. Alright, I'm gonna mess these names up on purpose. It's Beli, the Hebrew Bela, meaning what? Yahweh. Ain't that something? They saying Yahweh is Baal. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all calling on Yahweh, huh? Next in the hierarchy of demons was Asmo, king of the demons, and his wife, Lily, chief demoness of the Use. Alright, now I've heard mixed things about Lily. Alright, but we not gonna go into all that right now. We're just gonna see what he's talking about. Now he's saying Lily is well known today as the patron goddess of the lesbians. Her name survives in many current organizations such as the Daughters of Lily. This choice of patroness suggests that there may always have been a certain amount of demonic impulses in homo practices. This motivation would fit in with the basic rites of occultism, such as defiance of the Most High, yeah? That's the main goal, right? They're defiant in the development of unusual lifestyles. The inevitable retribution for these practices has now appeared among us in the form of the widespread plague of AIDS. Is that right? So that's what they doing with it, huh? Saying Lily is typical of the demons who were created by sexual intercourse between the daughters of man and the Watchers. They appeared during the 6 days of creation of disembodied spirits and later took physical form. The Book of Zohar says every pollution of semen gives birth to demons. Is that true? I know you're not supposed to just waste your seed, but I didn't know that it give birth to evil spirits, which they're calling demons. I don't know. All right, we just digging on it. The Encyclopedia Judacia refers to the impurity of the serpent who had sexual relations with Eve. The Kabbalah claims that Lily had intercourse with Adam and produced demons as part of the cosmic design, in which the right and left are opposing currents of pure and impure powers, filling the world and dividing it between the Holy One and the serpent Sammy. Alright, now this is in the Zohar, they say. Okay. Webster's Dictionary says of Lily, Hebrew meaning of the night, Jewish folklore, a female demon vampire. Ish folklore, first wife of Adam before the creation of Eve. Many legends identify Lily as the first wife of Adam. These myths claim that the Most High formed Lily out of mud and filth. She soon quarreled with Adam because of her overweening pride. She refused to let him lie on top of her. It is for this reason she was adopted as the patroness of the lesbians. She left Adam and fled to the shores of the Red Sea. Now we know the Red Sea, right? The Gulf of California, right? Where she was said to indulge in her sexual fantasies with demons, living among the wild beasts and hyenas. Okay, her presence gave rise to many terrifying legends. She became the chief Ish demoness and was said to prey on newly born children, sucking the life out of them. She also was known to suck the blood from men who were sleeping alone, and it was referred to as the night hag. Isaiah 34:14, the wild beast shall meet with hyenas, the satyr shall cry to his fellow, yea, then shall the night hag alight and find for herself a resting place. Except for this one verse, her name was excised from all scripture because of her unsavory reputation. Alright, this is what they're saying about Lily now. Other legends claim that Lily and her accompanying demonesses ruled over 4 seasons as Lily, Name, Mentrel, Agra, and Nala. They were said to gather on a mountaintop near the mountains of darkness and there celebrate the witches' Sabbath. That's what they do, huh? When they would have intercourse with Sammy, the prince of demons. It was because the Most High had such an unfortunate result with Lily after creating her out of mud and filth that he decided to go to Adam's rib for his next creation, Eve. So this is why they say it's like 2 creation stories, right? Alright, in the Bible. The first, second chapter is 2 different stories or something like that. Alright, and they saying she was subsequently known as, well, now they got Hawa. Oh, well, I think in the Sephardic is Shua with a C, right? But I think they're just calling it this because she was the mother of all, existence. So Hawa just means to exist, to be, I am, life itself, the breath. So that's why they're giving her that name. We know Hawa is the ancient name of the creator. But they giving it to her because she's the mother of all the living. And also the serpent mother, because of her later association with Satan. The Prince of Darkness had a number of disguises, but when he incarnated sexual desire, as he did for Eve, he always appeared as a serpent. So when he popped up on Eve, he was always what? A dragon? Alright, we ain't gonna go with the snake thing, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I would say, yeah, fallen angels, dragon, yeah. Okay. Alright, but dragons are just angels, right? Okay. Alright. Now, yeah, you got many different orders of dragons too, to serve different purposes. But hold on, I'm going backwards. Where I'm going? Alright, because evil was now established on earth through the presence of demons and their followers, it was necessary for God to punish mankind. In inflicting this punishment, he resolved to be just. Now, these ain't my words, y'all. I'm not saying this. We just reading it. For this, it was necessary for him to select those who were without stain and who would be allowed to survive the punishment. His method of selection was a simple one. He chose those who had not been contaminated. His choice was Noah and his family. Noah is described in Genesis 6:9. Noah was perfect in his generations. Alright. The word generations here is an imperfect translation of the Hebrew word tuiwa or tulida, which means ancestry. An earlier and more appropriate translation is Noah was a just man and perfect, without blemish in his generations. So this way you need to go read the book of Jasher or Yasher, right? They're going to tell you, Noah was pretty much, from a baby, he was angel-like, right? Right? But we're going to keep going. There's a lot of pages we're going to get through. All right, when it said he was God's choice because he and his family were the last remaining pure-blooded Adamites in the world. The Revised Standard Version has an even greater error in its wording. Noah was blameless in his generation, since it does not state what he would have been blamed for. Alright? It's going to get a little interesting, right? The site of the flood, which was God's prescribed punishment for mankind, was not in the Near Eastern area, like they say today, right? Over there, where they got it? Turkey? Right? He's saying it's not in the Near Eastern area and is commonly supposed. Archaeologists have been puzzled for years that they could not find no evidence of such a flood in this area. In fact, because Cain had been banished east of Eden, Noah and his family lived in the Tarim Basin. Alright, remember that. Tarim Basin. Located in the upper Xinjiang province. This basin was fed by the river Tarim, and here the deluge took place. Now we're going to stop right there. You heard what he said, right? Tarim. Noah lived and his family lived in Tarim. Alright? Now, I did a little bit of research, y'all. Just a little bit. I just want to check things out a little bit for myself. And what I found amazed me. So let's see what we got. So I couldn't find where he found that out at. Alright. I did see this article right here. Alright, and it says Noah's flood was not worldwide. Alright. It says among the many mistaken and unscriptural notions commonly taught in nearly all churches is the idea that the flood mentioned in the Bible covered all the earth. It states everybody on earth was drowned except Noah and his family, who escaped death by being in the ark. Many churches have firmly insisted that the Bible says this, and there is ample proof that the flood was not worldwide. With this teaching, the churches have destroyed the faith of multitudes of people. They have made atheists and agnostics out of hundreds of thousands of people who might have become active Christians. Here go another Christian, right? Had only been taught the truth about the Bible. Part of this mistaken idea about the flood is due to many mistranslations found in commonly used King James Bible. Part of it appears plainly to be false. If you carefully read even the King James Bible, let's have a look at it. Alright? Now look what he got. In Genesis chapter 6, we read that who? We just saw what this name meant. You gotta flip it around backwards, man. Hawa found the people so corrupt. He regretted it. Alright, we know the story. Okay, we know the story. Alright, but alright, let's get to the part where he talk about Terem. What did he say? Hold on, he said, okay, this is how big the boat was. Yeah. Alright, here we go. Now, he and this dude right here, the author of the book and this dude right here, they both believe it was in China. And if you look it up if you look up the Terem River, right, it's going to take you to China. Okay? So this is where they think is at. But they're not familiar with ancient China. Alright? They talking about Asia Minor. They don't know that this American land has Asia Major. Right? On old maps. Alright? Now we gonna dig into it a little bit. Let me see. Where he said that? He's still talking Chinese, Turkish. Okay. Where is that, man? Hold on. Let me see what he's saying here. Alright, then he brings up the Mississippi for some reason, right? Why he bringing that up? He says, alright, farther to the south in the lower Tigris and Euphrates valleys where the slope was no longer steep, the accumulation of silt picked up by the rivers where they ran swiftly was now settling to the bottom of the riverbeds, constantly raising the level. Every high water season, the rivers overflowed their banks and flooded the valleys. This is exactly the same as we have in our Mississippi Valley. Is that so? Is that so? I guess he can't put two and two together, huh? These annual floods washed away the people's houses and sent them fleeing to high ground. Therefore, it was correctly called the land of Nod, the land of wandering. Here, Cain settled and taught people to build high dikes along the riverbanks, just as we have done along the banks of the Mississippi. Oh. Now we know, alright, that they fronted, okay? The Mississippi is actually the real Euphrates River. Alright, and I think they cut it off, but it's longer than what they said it is, right? But anyway, I'm trying to get to where he talk. Alright, here we go. Alright, more evidence is found in high water mark found in many places along the mountains which rim this basin, showing at one time the basin was a lake extending to this well-marked shoreline. Now remember, he says shoreline was a lake The mountains which rim this valley were not fully covered, for many of them range from 16,000 to 25,000 feet in height. Okay. Alright, skip down a little bit. This basin through which flows the Tarim River, and which is sometimes known as the Tarim Basin in southern Xinjiang. See, still talking China, right? He talking China over there, and he talking China right here. Is identified as the site of Noah's flood. Now, I had to go and dig a little bit, y'all. Alright, I had to go dig, because I was like, alright, Tarim. And I couldn't find it, right? But I did find something. And the first word of Tarim is tar. Alright? So I was like, alright, tar is, you know what tar is, right? It's like a dark colored liquid. And look what they say here. It's a caulking agent for ships. Isn't that interesting? It's a caulking agent for ships. Now, we was just talking about Noah, right? And his ship. Okay? So then that made me think about well, actually, I looked it up and I found something that's called the Tar River. Now, the Tar River is a river that is approximately 215 miles long in northeast North Carolina, flowing generally southeast to the estuary of the Pamlico. Alright, the Tar River becomes the tidal Pamlico. Alright, so he said it goes into a lake, right? Now, we found this in North Carolina. Now, when you think of North Carolina, you think about tar. Hold on. Okay. Go a little bit further. The Tar River. Okay. Hold up. What did they say to that? Alright, okay. So then, alright, so I'm thinking like now, I'm thinking about Tar Heels, because North Carolina is the home of the Tar Heels, right? Alright, did you know that the Tar Heel is a nickname applied to the state of North Carolina? So the whole state is nicknamed the Tar Heel. Alright, and it's also University of North Carolina. We know Jordan played there, right? A lot of good players played there, right? Alright, and the origins of Tar Heel's nickname trace back to North Carolina as a producer of turpentine, tar, and pitch. So this Tar River actually has tar in it. And the reason they call it Tar Heels is because when you go across the Tar River, your heels will be like, have tar on them. So therefore you get the Tar Heels, right? So then I was like, all right, let me go look at the map. And let me go look at this thing. So then I went, okay. Now this Tar River, right? In North Carolina. Check it out. Alright, the Tar River. It goes into a lake. Like they said. It's on the shoreline. Like they said. And guess what else? I remembered Con Drop at 432 to drop. I remember he talked about North Carolina, right? He was talking about Pilot Mountain, where North Carolina Let me see if I can get it. This is actually where the ark, the real place where the ark could have landed. Now they done turned it into a state park. But on this state park, right? Let's see if we can get it. You got what's called Pilot Mountain. And look, it's a giant tree stump on top of the mountain. Alright? And it looks over everything. Look at the view. It's above everything. It's above everything, y'all. So now we're gonna have to go and we're gonna have to pass the mic. Alright? Because I remember what Condrop was talking about back in, where you at? Can we get a couple minutes, Con? We can you break this down for the people real quick, man? Let me see. Hold on.
On November 7th.
Hold on. Let me set it at. Yeah. Somewhere around here. Okay.
Ran into this Cardew situation, which is another breadcrumbs, you know what I mean? Another trail to follow with the Cardew, but something tells me that they're just trying to tie that more into the turkey flow, you know. But we searching. The Syrian version about Cardew, right? And Cordoon.
Mm-hmm.
These locations became convoluted. The Targumim for Genesis 8, Shalom, interpret error as Cardron and Cardew.
Hold on.
So now you could probably cross-reference this Cardew and see, if there's any Cardew flow in North Carolina, this could.
Hold on, Con. You was breaking it down. Was it right? Oh, they made me lose my place, y'all. Hold on. Where he said it at?
Fleet to Earth? The hell? Talking about
Pilot Mountain.
some show to be performed on Labor Day at Pilot Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
A huge crowd shows up, and the aeronauts, human and canine, so they got their dogs, or we're talking about dog-headed people. I don't know, man. It's crazy talk. These shows were produced by the Grace Shannon Company just over a year ago. Another of the aeronauts, L.N. Odell, was killed when his balloon burst into flames and collapsed.
Oh man, I lost my place where I had it at, y'all. Cause Con was dropping on this one. All right, go back and get this. Press the 119, man.
Like I said, everything's pretty small. It's hard to see, but apparently, the Mount Ararat is literally titled Mount Ararat on this map. Sorry that it's hard to see, but you see that it's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
The Fry Jefferson map was surveyed in 1749 by Joshua Fry, and this is all.
Yeah, man. Con dropped a whole video on this North Carolina flow. So, yeah. It's all connected, man. Now, if you take a look, right? If you take a look, hold on. Let me get it back. Look, y'all. Pilot Mountain. They said Noah lived in the Tarim Basin. Now, this would actually make sense, alright? That the mountain that he landed right back near his hometown. Because it ain't that far, man. Look. It's not that far to get from Tar River and the Tarim Basin to Pilot Mountain. Right? So he came right back home. Alright? Check it out, man. Alright, and they actually got, let's see if we can find it real quick. Let's see if we can find it. Ararat, right next to it. Boom. There it is. You see it? Ararat. They telling you straight up. They telling you straight up. Alright? They ain't lying. Alright, this is where Noah was at, man. This where he was at. Alright, he landed over there and came right back home. Alright, now we're going to talk about the gopher wood for a second. Because look, it said it took 5 years to build the ark, right? It took 5 years. So in those 5 years, he could have went down here to Georgia and Florida and grabbed him some gopher wood, came back home, or he could have just left straight from there. You know? Because that ain't far, man. It's right up and down the coast, man. So most definitely, man. Most definitely, it's starting to connect. Alright? Now, I did a little bit more research. Well, let me see. Let's see what I did. Gopher wood. In case you don't know about that gopher wood, alright? This is what was used to build the ark. Gopher wood. Alright? This word is unrelated to the name of North American animal known as the gopher. So even the gopher animal is North American. Alright? And they're letting you know. They're letting you know. Right here. But they're trying to deny it and say it's not related to the gopher. Okay? But if we go a little further, right? And we dig a little deeper, we ask them, what land is gopher wood indigenous? The assistant is even going to tell you that gopher wood is a term from the Bible, especially mentioned in the context of Noah's Ark. Its exact identity is uncertain. However, one tree sometimes referred to as gopher wood is in Florida, which is native to a small area along the Apalachicola River in northern Florida and southwestern Georgia. So now you can see, right, that they lied about everything, man. They moved everything. All right, man. And we know that. Hold on. Man, I got to back all the way out. Hold up, y'all. Trying to bring it back one time. Yeah, man. So it wouldn't have took him that far. Alright, if he landed over here and now they want to disappear, where it was just saying Ararat. Alright. See, sometimes you gotta play with the map to get it to work right. But yeah, man. Alright. It was over here, man. In this region. And of course, what they do with all our stuff, they take it and they turn it into some type of, where is that? Oh, now they want to play with me. Okay, hold up. They turn it into a park, man. Alright? It turned into a park. But anyway, let's get back to the book. Because there's plenty more things we about to dig into. It's going to get a lot deeper than this. Alright? Now, I thought I had the Tar Heel. Okay. Oh, yeah, here we go. Alright. I dug in it a little bit more, y'all. So, Ramses is the name of the ram. Ramses. Isn't that something? The name of the mascot is Ramses. Alright? Ramses. And you even got Ramses Jr. Alright? Now, hold up. What is that? So then I started looking at what's around. Right? I went into it and I even said, hey man, what is around? Alright? In the Bible. So the first mention of ram is found in the Bible, Genesis 15:9. Alright? And then the Most High miraculously supplied a ram to Abraham to offer in the place of Isaac. That's interesting. They saying ram, aka Aram. He is the firstborn of Jarmiel and one of the ancestors of King David and who? There they go. They throwing JC in there. Now I done already chopped JC up. Alright, but every time you see him pop up out the ground, man, I'm gonna go ahead and hit him with a double tap. Alright, because this right here will let you know. They calling him the second Adam, right? So this is the lineage from first Adam to second Adam. They're saying JC is second Adam. Alright, now I just gotta go ahead and throw a jab at him real quick, y'all, and we're gonna keep it moving. Because look at this. This right here in itself. Look, all of these lineages that they got run through the man. All of them. Every single one of them. Until what? Until you get to Mary. What? So this is when the Ishes flipped everything around. And they said, now we going through the mom, not the man no more. Alright? This right here alone is a kind of, would you say, a body bag. Cause how you going through the male seed on each and every one of these? Look at all these names. But when you get to Mary, now we're going through the mom, y'all. And he's the second Adam. Alright, get back in that hole, man. We're gonna put him back in the hole, y'all. Alright, and real quick, it was talking about Nama, right? I just looked up for you, alright? It's two Namas. One of them they saying is a so-called demon. Then you got another one who's the sister of Tubal Cain. And Tubal Cain's name is gonna pop up in just a little while. Alright, but let's get back to the book because we got a lot more to uncover. Okay? Just wanted to show y'all that real quick. Because it kind of blew my mind when I found that Tar River. I was like, whoa. Oh, yeah. Alright? Now, where we was at, y'all? We was talking about Noah. Okay. Alright. Because evil was now established on earth through the presence of the demons and their followers, it was necessary for the Most High to punish mankind, and inflicting this punishment, he resolved to be just. For this, it was necessary for him to select those who were without stain and who would be allowed to survive the punishment. His method of selection was a simple one. He chose those who had not been contaminated. His choice was Noah and his family. Noah is described in Genesis 6:9. Noah was perfect in his generations. The word generations here is an imperfect translation of the Hebrew word Yeah, we already read this, y'all. Hold up. Yeah, we read about that. Okay, hold on. All right, here we go. Having been warned by the Most High of impending catastrophe, Noah succeeded in building the ark, one of the greatest engineering feats of all time. Okay, all right, we know about that. We know about that. All right. Because of the limited space on the ark, there could be no possibility of further reproduction of these species during their time aboard, and God commanded that no intercourse should take place. This commandment was violated by an inhabitant of the ark, Ham, the second son of Noah. Ham had intercourse with a pre-Adamite woman on the ark, a dark-skinned person. Now, see here? There we go. All right. Won't they all of a darker skin? But look, this is how you're going to break it down, right? Their offspring was a black son named Cush, who became the symbol of Ethiopia. Alright? Noah was dismayed when he learned that his son had violated the Most High's commandment because he knew that retribution would come. After the flood had subsided and life on earth went back to its usual routine, Noah continued to be haunted by his fears. The subsequent occurrences have since had dire consequences for all of mankind. In the Bible, it appears as somewhat of a riddle, since the characters are identified and misidentified in sequential verses. Neither the exact sequence of events, their explanation, or the identification of the principles can be followed as it appears in Genesis, possibly due to mistranslations or editing over the centuries. So yeah, we know, after you get copy after copy and translation after translation and monk after monk, scribe after scribe, yeah, they're gonna mess some things up. Although life on earth had presumed its pre-deluge felicity, Noah continued to be distressed by Ham's transgression. So vexed was he that he drank too much wine, and he lay exposed in his drunkenness, as it is recounted in Genesis 9:24 or whatever, through 27. Sorry, y'all. Ham's son Canaan saw his grandfather exposed. At one point, he is referred to as Noah's youngest son. Alright? Who? Instead of the correct designation as his grandson. So, at one point, they said it was his youngest son. Noah's other sons, Shem and Japheth, seeing their father exposed, hastened to cover him with a cloak. However, when he awakened, Noah was greatly infuriated by what had taken place, and he pronounced a curse on Canaan. Cursed be Canaan. A slave of slaves shall he be to his brothers, Shem and Japheth. Here again is something of a riddle, as Shem and Japheth were the uncles of Canaan, not his brothers. The riddle is probably an intentional one because it is intended to invoke a special study of these verses to come to an understanding of these very important messages, warnings to all future generations. Various explanations have been offered for Noah's tremendous anger at Canaan and his curse of Canaan. One, which has now largely been discounted, is that Ham may have slept with Noah's wife, or that he made an attempt to do so. No basis for this conjecture has ever been established. Another explanation is that Noah cursed Canaan because he was still vexed at Ham's violation of God's commandment to the inhabitants of the ark that they should refrain from intercourse while on board, but Ham had slept with the pre-Adamite woman on the ark. Noah finally vented his wrath in the curse of Canaan. This also fails to ring true. The men of the Old Testament were very direct in their dealings. If Noah was vexed with Ham, he would have cursed Ham, not Canaan. None of these explanations offer a valid reason for the vehemence of Noah's curse, a curse which has blighted humanity for 3,000 years. The only rational explanation for the curse is Noah's anger. that Canaan had done something which thoroughly outraged his grandfather. Looking on him while he was exposed would hardly have caused such a reaction, right? If you just looked at him, right? That would cause him to get cursed. I know that's wrong, but man. So scholars finally concluded that Canaan had done something so degrading that Noah had to pronounce a curse upon him. What would this have been? The Bible, as presently translated, does not really give us a clue. These scholars decided that Canaan, being of mixed race and therefore not bound by the rigid moral code of the Adamites, had probably committed a homo act on his grandfather. Being of pure stock, Noah would have been exceedingly wroth at such an act and would have reacted as he did. Now that kind of would make sense right there, right? Okay. The curse of Canaan was extended to the land which was named after him, the land of Canaan. Now look, I'm reading this. I need some feedback with y'all, man, because some of these things I agree with, some of them I don't. Alright, so hit me up in the comment section on what you think. You know what I'm saying? And we can chop it up. The Canaanites themselves, the people of this land, became the greatest curse upon humanity, and so they remain today. Not only did they originate the practices of demon worship, cult rites, child sacrifice, and cannibalism, but as they went abroad, they brought these obscene practices into every land which they entered. The Canaanites did this. Not only did they bring their demonic cult to Egypt, but known by their later name, the Phoenicians, as they were called after 1200 BC, they became the demonizers of civilization through successive epochs, being known in medieval history as the Venetians, who destroyed the great Byzantine, Christian civilization, and later as the black nobility, which infiltrated the nations of Europe and gradually assumed power through trickery, revolution, and financial legerdemain. Alright, now I done heard multiple things about these Phoenicians. Okay, I don't know if they was all Canaanites, but that's what he's saying, that they changed the name to Phoenicians, then they changed it to Venetians. Alright? The reputation of Canaan is to be found in many ancient records. Although its foul history has been carefully expunged from even more of the historic archives and libraries, in 1225 BC, the monarch Mernptah, who because of his victories in the Canaanite region was known as the Binder of Giza, set up a stele to commemorate his successes. Among the inscriptions placed thereon was this: plundered is the Canaan with very evil. All lands are united and pacified. This inscription did not mean that Mernptah had used every evil to plunder the Canaan. It meant that he had in his sojourn there encountered every evil practiced by this notorious tribe. Ham had 4 sons: Cush, who founded the land of Ethiopia; Mizraim, who founded Egypt; Put, who founded Libya; Canaan, who founded the land of the Canaanites. The area now is in contention as the state of Israel. So see, he's talking about modern day Israel, right? He got these maps all twisted up. In the Agada, Cush is said to be black-skinned as punishment. Is that so? For Ham's having had intercourse on the ark. Now the reason he's saying it, right, because you saw what this man looked like, right? You saw the picture I showed. So now he's saying that his black skin is a curse, a punishment. Alright? Now remember, I ain't gonna go at this man. I ain't gonna come at him. Alright, but you know what it is, you know what it is, man. Alright? This is his point of view. For Ham's having had intercourse on the ark. 3 copulated to the ark, and they were all punished: the dog, the raven, and Ham. Well, that's interesting. Alright, He said the dog, the raven, and Ham. The dog was doomed to be tied. The raven rates his seed into the mouth of his mates. And Ham was smitten in his skin. That's what he said. From him descended Cush, the Negro, who was black skinned. Now, come on now. Alright? Now, thankfully, I've been in many classrooms. Alright? So, I know that Kush was divided, man. Alright, part of Kush is part of South America today. And the other part is over there in Africa. Alright? So, I think it got split up when the lands got divided. Alright? So, you had them trading back and forth for a long time. Alright? Now, the Negro term is applied to Americans, all right, and not Hamites, all right. So, remember, this is his point of view, all right. I said I'm gonna agree with some of it. This part, I don't really agree with this. All right, he's saying the Negro who was black skinned. Let's keep it moving. In the Talmudic literature, Cushi always means a black person or the Negro race. Cushite is synonymous with black. Alright, the Bible as presently translated makes no references to Cush's color. Reference to his descendants, the Cushites, appears only in Numbers and Samuel Book 2. Numbers 12:1 reveals that Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses because of the Cushite woman he had married. Yeah, but not because she was black, though, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because she was a Cushite. But he had married a Cushite woman. Here again, no explanation is given as to why Miriam and Aaron turned against Moses. Yet the matter is obviously of some importance because the same verse emphasized by repetition that he had married a Cushite woman. And we find the explanation by turning to the Talmud, which tells us that Cushite always means black. So he's really going in on this black thing, huh? All right, man, you got a problem, man. Now say it with your chest, bruh. But anyway, the verse in Numbers should read, and originally may have read, Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses because of the black or Cushite woman he had married. 2 Samuel contains 7 references to Cushites, but again, no descriptions are given. All right. Now, Professor Said, noted Egyptian scholar, Near and Middle East, explains that Canaan means low and Elam means high. The Canaanites were those who inhabited the low places. The Elamites occupied the high ground. In his great work, The Worship of the Dead, quotes Strabo's observation that the Cushites inhabited the coastal regions of all Asia and Africa. All right, now when we talking Asia, we talking Asia over here. So this would confer with what I just said, that is part over here in this Asia and part over there in Africa. Okay, they were never aggressive enough to fight for or remain on higher ground, and were forced to remain in the low swampy areas, exposed to elements, areas which other people could not contest them for. All right. We have also seen that Osiris was black, or the Cushite race, and this was the characteristic of the Egyptians. Now, Osiris is just a spin-off of Nimrod, man. But I guess he don't know that. Alright, Herodotus speaks of the Egyptians generally as black and woolly-haired. There were 2 races in Egypt, the Misraimites, who first colonized the country, and the black Egyptians, the later receiving their name from Egyptus, the son of Beli, Cush. There can be little doubt, therefore, that Egyptus, the father of the black Egyptians, the son of Belu, is the same as the black Osiris. Alright, we're going to skip down a little bit, y'all. Alright. They call them demons and devil worshippers and lascivious wretches who make a god of Sizzy. Alright, Langy, and Phallus. See that? So what they doing today in America is the same thing. Do you know what a phallus is, man? Alright, it is an erect penis. And this is the statue that they have at the monument, which is right there. Is the giant monument we have, man, in DC, man. They worship this, man. Alright, this is what they worship, man. Alright. Garner goes on to observe that Buddha must be identified with those guys whose human origin was Kushite from Kush, the great prophet and the teacher of ancient paganism, the father of the black Ethiopian race. Buddha, although the chief god of the yellow race, is constantly represented as black with woolly hair and Negro features. The flat noses and thick lips of many of the ancient statues which occur in Hindustan. And I think that's the real name of India, right? Over there. That's Hindustan, ain't it? Alright? It wasn't called India, man. This is India Superior right here in America, man. They took everything from over here and spread it all over the place. Alright? This is the mixery. They're trying to fool and deceive everybody. And it's worked for a long time, man, but it's over now, bro. Alright? We know, man. Alright? We can stop playing these games, man. We know what's up. Whenever y'all ready to talk, we can talk, man. They don't want to talk about it. They can't talk about it because if they talk about it, that's going to end up leading to who the Israelites really are. Alright? And that's a talk they don't want to have. And this is why they're going to get destroyed, man. They keep playing these games with people, man. You can't keep playing with somebody. It's like, when I didn't know, okay, cool. But now that I know and you still playing in my face, it's not cool, bruh. You know what I'm saying? But these are clearly the well-known features of the genuine African Negro. Now they saying African Negro. We know the Negro is not African. Unless you consider this to be like, they say, part of Africa too. Unless you're considering this to be part of Africa too, then you can say maybe. But now they're saying African Negro. Alright, the human origin of Buddha was Kush. So he just called Buddha Kush. Now, this would make sense. Right? Because we go over here, where we at? If we go, where we going? If you go over there to Arizona, man, and the Grand Canyon, you're going to see Buddha statues, man. The originals, the OGs. Alright? Right here in America, man. Right here. Alright? You might find some over there in South America, too. Yeah, they got them in South America. They all over the place. The giant ones is over here, the real ones. They probably stole some and took them over there. Like they did with everything else. But, he's saying, this is Kush. Alright? And, yeah. That's probably true, man. Where we at? Yeah. What did I say in the Grand Canyon? Yeah. Yeah. It's right there in the Grand Canyon, man. Look at that. Alright? There's plenty of them. They all over the place. Alright? Where this one at? Yeah. Well, let's continue on though, because it's going to get a little deeper. Alright? Ham's subsequent acts did nothing to clear his reputation. He stole the garments which God made for Adam and Eve before he expelled them from the Garden of Eden. Cush inherited these garments for Ham and passed them on to his son Nimrod. Because of these garments, Nimrod became known as the mighty hunter. He was considered to be invincible as long as he wore these garments, which are recorded in Genesis 3:21. Animals and men cowered before the onslaught of Nimrod because of these garments, which conferred great powers upon him. Nimrod was born on December 25th. Alright, I talked about this before. Alright, this is why they do Christmas, man. It's because of Nimrod. The high Sabbath of Babylon was the founder of Babylon and the city of Nineveh. In the history of mankind, Nimrod stands unequal for his symbolism of evil and satanic practices. It always goes back to Nimrod, man. Alright? He is credited for having founded Freemasonry and for building the legendary Tower of Babel in defiance of God's will. In Talmudic literature, he is noted as he who made all people rebel against the Most High. Alright? The legend of Midrash recounts that when Nimrod was informed of Abraham's birth, he ordered all the male children killed to be certain of eliminating him. Abraham was hidden in a cave, but in later life, he was discovered by Nimrod, who then ordered him to worship fire. Abraham refused and was thrown into the fire. The legendary symbol for Nimrod is axe. Here they go, stealing your stuff. All right, that's the town, man. That's Hebrew, man. They're giving it to Nimrod. They're saying that that's his symbol. All right, you got the Black Panther movie when they doing the axe, right? And that's Wakanda is right here in America, man. They're trying to let you know. All right, vibranium is a real thing, man. It might not have been called that, but that's real, man. The use of this symbol always denotes witchcraft. When X is used as shortened form, meaning Christmas, it actually means to celebrate the feast of Nimrod. A double X, which has always meant to double cross or betray, and its fundamental meaning indicates one's betrayal into the hands of Satan. When American corporations use the X in their logo, such as Exxon, the historic Rockefeller firm of Standard Oil of New Jersey, there can be little doubt of this hidden meaning. The importance of Nimrod in any study of the occult cannot be overemphasized. Because of the powers given him by the clothing of Adam and Eve, Nimrod became the first man to rule the whole world. He indulged that power by launching excesses and horrors which have never been equaled. Ever since the time of Nimrod, Babylon has been a symbol of depravity and lust. Alright? Lust, man. Alright, that's what it's all about. That's why they got a giant phallus. Alright, they worship that. Alright, this is why porn is free. Alright, you can watch porn all day long for free. Because they want you to be lustful, man. Alright? That's one of the seven deadly sins, right? Lust. Nimrod also introduced the practice of genocide to the world. His grandfather Ham had consorted with other races and brought children of the mixed race into the world, persuaded by his consort. You saying Ham brought these mixed races in the world because you're saying they were black? Okay, bro. Alright. Was persuaded by his consort, the evil Nama, to practice ritual murder and cannibalism. She informed Ham that by killing and eating fair-skinned people, his descendants could regain their superior qualities. Now, here we go. All right, y'all. I said I'm not going to get mad. All right? But I hope you see what he's saying, don't you? All right? Here we go with that superior complex they got. Alright, throughout the ensuing countries, the fair-skinned descendants of Shem, he's calling Shem's descendants fair-skinned. Huh? You know you're wrong. I'm just saying, man, you know you wrong, man. You know you wrong, bro. Alright? And we're not gonna get mad. Okay? Noah's oldest son have ritually been slaughtered by the darker descendants of Ham and Nimrod, and in the world's most persistent campaign of racial and religious persecution. Not only did Nimrod kill and eat the fair-skinned descendants of Shem, alright, come on, man. He just gonna keep saying it. Alright, they were not a fair-skinned, sir. That's you. Trying to graft your way into something, as they always do. In his fury and hatred, he often burned them alive. The type of human sacrifice involving the eating of slaughtered human victims derived its name from the combined names of his uncle Canaan and the demon god Baal, right? Other known as Yahweh, other known as Lord, other known as JC. Alright? It goes back to the same name, man. The two names being combined to form the word cannibal. You see? This is where the word comes from. You put Canaan and Baal together, you get cannibal. Nimrod was also known in ancient history by the names, I'm not going to say these names, Mardi, Bel, Merle, and his importance in its history. Babylon was well known as the land of Nimrod. Nimrod is also cited in the most ancient Masonic constitutions as the founder of Freemasonry. Nimrod's downfall reputedly came about when he began to build the Tower of Babel, or Ziggurat, or Temple Tower, which was planted to rise up into the heavens. Alright, because of this offense against God, Shem, the eldest son of Noah, pronounced judgment against Nimrod and executed him. Now he's saying it's Shem. Shem did it. Alright? If you go read, what is it? Is it Jasher? Yeah, Jasher. It was Esau that cut the head off of Nimrod, man. I don't know where you're getting this from now. But I really want to get to the stuff that's later on that he passed this. But we're going to read it and get up and we're going to build it up till we get there. Other accounts add that Shem then cut Nimrod's body into pieces and sent the pieces to pagan temples of Babylon as a warning to the priests that their sex orgies and child sacrifices would result in similar judgment of execution. Now, this is the same story passed around, man. Alright, this is the same story passed around in Egyptian mythology. Alright, so did this really happen? Did he get cut up like that? Because who they said got cut up like that? Was it Osiris, right? And then, what's her name? His mother / wife put them back together? Right? Okay. Yeah, man. All this stuff goes back to the same stuff, man. They just reuse it, recycle it. Anyway. Where is that? Instead of abandoning their hideous ceremonies because of this warning, the priests literally went underground. No longer did their altars smoke with human blood, as Quito, the great Palestinian authority, described them. The priests took the pieces of Nimrod as relics to their secret meeting places, which were hidden in groves and shrines. This was the origin of the secret mystery cults whose orgies could no longer be performed in public temples because of the power of Shem. Because the power of Shem? Or was it Esau? The priests from that time on conducted their forbidden orgies out of the light of day in the secret hiding places. Their meetings were bounded with secret rites, which no one outside of their order was permitted to know on pain of death. This was the origin of the Gnostics, the knowing ones, who knew the secrets. It may be for this reason that Nimrod became known as the founder of Freemasonry, because of his fundamental rites were established and invoked after he was killed in order to carry on his work of evil. Alright, so this is why they do this stuff today. And they do it underground, in secret places. Alright, we're going to get a scripture about this in a minute. Alright? The history of mankind for the past 3,000 years has been the history of struggle between the fair-skinned descendants of Shem and the darker-skinned. Alright, come on, man, with the hijack, man. That's enough. He's saying fair-skinned descendants of Shem. No, man, that's just you, bro. Alright? They were copper-colored, bro. Let's stop this madness. Yet you will find this struggle defined in any historical work. The records of the genocide against the people of Shem are apparent through the archives of history, but there is not a school or university whose faculty will apprise its students of this simple fact. Then in itself explains much which is usually dismissed as being beyond explanation. The reason for this odd development is that the descendants of Ham traditionally have usurped the educational process through their earlier usurpation of the priesthood to carry on their satanic work. They have controlled the educational systems ever since, converting it to their own evil purposes. It is of even greater interest that not a single school of theology anywhere in the world takes note of this central fact of history, a red thread which runs continuously through the records of events. In the Greek language, Shem appears as Ihu. In Egyptian mythology, he is Shu, the son of Ra, the sun god. Alright, we're talking Shem, we're talking Esau, man. Alright. Which one is it, bro? It was through claimed descent from Shem that Louis, King of France, called himself the Sun King. However, a much more important point, and one that has again been obscured or hidden by the priests who controlled the educational system throughout the last 3,000 years, is the fact that it was Shem who founded and built the great civilization of Egypt. Now this, I might can agree with, okay? They call Shem, King messing it up. Melchizedek. I ain't got no, I'm messing it up. Melchizedek, there it is. Okay. Melchizedek, all right? And I think Melchizedek is just a title. All right? It means king of righteousness. Right? All right? But, yeah. Yeah, Shem, yeah. This is why they throw dirt on Shem, man. All right? He was the king of righteousness, right? The rulers of Egypt, this is why he got the good land, right? Yeah, because he was a good one, man. The rulers of Egypt were called pharaohs, from the Hebrew word pira, meaning long hair. The native Egyptians were short haired. Not only was Shem long haired, he was also hijacked. He was not, bro. Stop it. Okay? Stop it. He's only doing this, man, because he's trying to graft himself in, as they always do. All right, they're trying to cleave. They're trying to cleave, man. All right, being a great warrior, Shem easily led his people in the conquest of the native Egyptians. He immediately set about to commemorate his reign by building the Great Pyramid of Giza. All right, so they say, right? Babylon was then overcome by the son of Shem, Elam. A later descendant, Cyrus of Persia, Elamite, completed the final conquest of Babylon and built the great Persian Empire. It was to signify his great military success that Shem adopted as his symbol, the lion, which is still the symbol of rulers today. Yeah, they hold tight onto that lion, don't they? The Great Pyramid was later called Kahut, the horizon, which Khufu had been swallowed up. All right. Been swallowed up as the western horizon swallowed up the sun each evening. Okay. After extensive archaeological investigations, the Royal Astronomer of Scotland concluded that the evidence was irrefutable that the Great Pyramid at Giza had been built by Shem. He found the name Shufu inside the pyramid, painted in red. All right, now you talking about modern day Egypt, bro. All right. Now we know that they did some reconstruction over there. What about over here, man? What about them pyramids that's covered up with grass and dirt, man? That's underground. What about that? All right, because they took stuff and put it over there. Yeah, man, UBTV got a whole series on it, man. All right. We're going to continue on, man, because I'm trying to get to the better stuff here. All right. Also, inside the pyramid is an inscription placed there after the death of his descendant, Amenhotep. All right, the fourth. He stopped the barbaric practices of the priests, which had been introduced by Nama and her followers from Babylon, including Nimrod. The priests murdered Amenhotep so that they could resume their orgies of lust and child sacrifices. They had admitted to Herodotus that the Great Pyramid had been built by a wandering shepherd, an odd observation as shepherds do not usually create such a grandiose monuments to themselves. However, this was one of the terms of derision by which they always referred to Shem after his death. Other inscriptions by the priests throughout centuries of Egyptian history reveal Shem as what? Come on, bruh. What? Look here, man. Alright? And other terms signifying their hatred of him. Okay, maybe they did. They hated on him. So they called him a pig and a dwarf. I can see that. Possibly because he slew their mentor Nimrod. Okay. Alright, we got that it was Esau, man, but you saying it was Shem. Alright, in the same areas, other inscriptions extol the degenerate Ham, who had been corrupted by his consort, the evil Nama, introduced to the practices of human sacrifice and cannibalism. Egyptian civilization reached its peak during the reign of Shem. The Sphinx is now admitted to be a portrait of him. After his death, the priests not only resumed their evil practices, but they embarked on a successful campaign to black out his name from the recorded history. Now, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. A campaign which has largely succeeded during the ensuing 3,000 years. They also launched terrible punitive actions against Shem's, we're just going to say descendants, often murdering them or burning them alive. Not only did the priest like, he got to keep saying fair skin, like fair-haired, fair skin. Bro, that's you, bro. We seen what you look like, man. All right? Stop it. Not only did the priest falsify the records of Shem, but they also succeeded in eliminating most of the subsequent history of his fair-skinned descendants, the Shemites. His descendants, bro. Or as they are sometimes called, the Semites. Now, I'm not saying that because you might have lighter skin that you're not of Shem. But, bro, I seen what you look like, man. All right? I seen you. All right? You don't look like you got no tribe in you, my brother. Okay? The Arab scholar Murtadi noted that Num and Shufu, the builders of the pyramids, lived with Noah. Shem also was referred to by the name of Menes, from the Hebrew Meni, or man, which appears in the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Alright? Now, this is a society in ancient Egypt, right? Okay? They got Pharaoh at the top, nobles, priests, scribes, craftsmen, merchants, peasants, and then the slaves at the bottom. Alright. They still doing this same type of stuff today, man. Alright, that's why the Freemasons be throwing the little pyramid hand signals and all that. And they be doing all this little goofy stuff, man, thinking they slick. But anyway, to Uranus and his 3 sons, an obvious reference to Noah, Ham later became known as the Egyptian god Ammon. Herodotus writes the first king of Egypt who reigned until 2320 BC. Eusebius says, oh, Eusebius, that sounds like the Pope. One of them Pope names, don't it? Says that they put the New Testament in there. Says that 300 successive sovereigns descended from him. The Thinite kings who succeeded the demigods. The historian Matado referred to Shem as Menes as the most able son of Noah. Shem exemplifies the qualities upon which all subsequent civilizations have been built: courage, the desire to build, and the willingness to subdue those who have adopted a lower form of life. He is the Adamite who created civilizations as we have known it. On the other hand, the descendants of Ham, the Canaanites, exemplify the satanic urge to destroy civilization and rebellion against the Most High. Alright. Let me see what we want to get. Alright. Yeah, skip down a little bit. The Ish Encyclopedia says that Shem became king of Jerusalem as a representative of Hawa, so that he could carry on the battle against the slave people, the Canaanites. So it's a battle between the Canaanites and Shem. In Genesis, we find this verse: blessed be the Most High, the power of Shem. Yeah. Alright. And he's going to tell you about the 5 sons that Shem had. Alright. And now they're telling you about the name Yahweh. Later version was Jehovah, but it derives from the Hebrew verb Havah. See? I am. Now we know that the original was Hawa, but they switched the W's. They switched the Wa to Va. And you gotta go and look at the old Paleo Hebrew chart to see how they switched it up. But it is Hawa. Alright, historically, alright, they talking about Khufu, okay. Alright, wait a minute. Let's get this real quick. Historically, this was read as the older Khufu. Alright, and now they got his name with the Hebrew letters instead of. Alright. And thus it refers to Khufu or Shem, the builder of the Great Pyramid. It was because all the persecutions of the peoples by the priests that Khufu was phonetically is almost identical with the Hebrew Hawa. So they're saying the symbols of his name is almost identical to Hawa. Alright. The Most High Exodus from Egypt. The Encyclopedia Britannica notes of, alright, then they got Jehovah. The pronunciation 1 is an error resulting among Christians combining the consonants YHWH with the vowels of yeah. So now they're putting that Lord in there, which was substituted by the Jews for the sacred name Hawa, commonly called the tetragram, and they got it as 4 consonants. Alright. And I believe they threw that Y in there, man. Alright. They threw that Yah in there, man. That Yah means dismissal, man. Yah means dismissal. I think it's also a name of moon god. Alright. So they putting a dismissal or defiance in front of the HWH. Alright. And you know that the Y is the Yod, which means to worship. But the way that they saying it is Yah. And that means defiant. Like, you know what I'm saying? Think about it. charging against somebody, I'm like, yeah, right? Yeah, so that's a defiance. All right? But let's get to the good part, man. Oh, yeah, here we go. We start getting to the good part, y'all. All right, in order to understand why the name of Shem was systematically reviled and concealed throughout the records of history, we must return to the record of his thoroughly degenerate and evil nephew, Canaan. Canaan was so wicked that his last will and testament to his children was a formula for vice. It read, love one another, that is, of this tribe only, love robbery, love lewdness, hate your masters, and do not speak the truth. So I can concur to that. Because that's what they do today, ain't it? They rob, they loot, they hate, and they for sure is not going to tell the truth. All right, this remarkable document, the Will of Canaan, is to be found in only one place in all the world's theological literature, the Babylonian Talmud, where it is presented thusly. 5 things did Canaan charge his sons: love one another, love robbery, love lewdness, hate your masters, and do not speak the truth. The Will of Canaan has been the Canaanites' prescription for all their operations during the ensuing 3,000 years. Meanwhile, the people of Shem, knowing nothing of this document, vainly tried to convert the Canaanites and turn them from their evil ways. If the descendants of Shem had been warned of the precepts imparted by this document, the history of the last 3,000 years could have been very different. So you think, sir. Alright, but what? Obviously, you don't know that we was hit with some curses, man. Alright? Whatever happened, happened for a reason. There's no coincidences. There ain't no going back, changing nothing. It is what it is, man. Alright? But thank the Most High that we are living at this time right now. Because you read the Wisdom of Solomon, it tell you it's better to be at the end of something than the beginning. Right? At the same time, it remains unknown to the peoples whom the Canaanites continue to rob, enslave, and massacre. The Will of Canaan contains the instructions necessary to resist the results of the curse of Canaan, which condemned them to slavery. So they supposed to be condemned to slavery. That's why they so mad, man. Alright, they got cursed to be slaves. And so they was like, that's it. We hate y'all. The instructions to hate your masters, that is, Shem and Japheth, and the descendants, is command to commit genocide against the peoples of Shem. For this reason, all subsequent Canaanite rights are based upon these exhortations to struggle and commit acts of violence against the people of Shem. It is not only the basis for all the revolutions and liberation movements since that time, it is also a basic incitement to commit genocide and to carry on racial wars. Because of the 3,000-year historical blackout, the people of Shem have never understood their peril, and they have frequently been subject to massacre because of their essential goodness made it possible for them to believe the vileness of the Canaanites. The will of Canaan has always been concealed from them because it is the basic program of conspiracy and the secret rites which enabled Canaanites to wreak their hatred upon the descendants of Shem. Much of the continuous hostility between these two forces is mentioned in the Bible, but never in the basic form which has been stated here for the first time. In his book, The Mystery of the Ages, Herbert Armstrong comments, Canaanites who were racially dark had settled the land. Alright? I don't know if we're going to make it through this whole chapter, y'all. This chapter is long. Alright? The Most High commands the Israelites to drive them out. During the centuries of oppression and mass murder, the Most High has not stood aside from his people. On the contrary, he has frequently exhorted them to attack and rid themselves of the perils of the Canaanites in the early years of this struggle, it was still possible for his children to hear or to obey. The vision of Obadiah is recounted in Obadiah 20. All right. Yeah. Let's skip down a little bit, y'all. The battle continued over a period of centuries. In Joshua 17:13, we read, "Yet it came to pass when the children of Israel were waxing strong that they put the Canaanites to tribute, but did not utterly drive them out." That's it right there. All right? They messed up because when they were given the land, they didn't kick everybody out like they were supposed to. All right? The Most High expressed his will in the strongest terms to his children in Numbers 33. He said, "Ye shall drive out all the inhabitants of the land Canaan before you, and ye shall dispossess the inhabitants of the land and dwell therein. For I have given you the land to possess it. But if ye will not drive out the inhabitants of the land before you, then it shall come to pass that those who ye let remain of them shall be pricks in your eyes and thorns in your sides, and shall vex you in the land wherein ye dwell. It shall come to pass that I shall do unto you as I thought to do unto them." The children of Israel, that is, the descendants of Shem, obeyed the Most High and did war against the Canaanites, but in later generations they lost sign of this goal, permitting the Canaanites to live with them. Yeah. Disobedient, man. During this period of history, there were great victories against their historic enemy, as recounted in Judges 1:17. And Judah went with Simeon his brother, and they slew the Canaanites, inhabited Zephath, and utterly destroyed it. Alright. We're going to skip through it a little bit, y'all, because this is a long one. Alright. There's some good stuff that he's talking about though right here. So pretty much the Canaanites have been wreaking havoc ever since, man. Alright. Okay, we got that. The prohibition against mingling with the demon-worshipping Canaanites remained one of the Most High's strongest commands. Most High says, "So shall we be separated, I and all thy people, from all the people that are upon the face of the earth." Alright? Supposed to be separated. We're supposed to be separated. The Most High characterized the Canaanites thusly, "And I will make them a terror and an evil for all kingdoms of the earth." Thus we see the Canaanites, newly named the Phoenicians, dispersing along all the trade routes and avenues of commerce throughout the earth. As the Most High prophesied, they spread corruption, terror, and devastation wherever he scattered them. Later known as the Venetians, they dominated the avenues of commerce. When they settled inland, they specialized as merchants and later as bankers, at last compromising a group now loosely known as the black nobility, which holds seemingly irresistible power today. So this is bringing us into today now. This black nobility, right? Alright? Yeah. The Most High further warned his people against the dispersed Canaanites, Deuteronomy 7:2-5. "Thou shalt smite them, lilt, utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with with them, such as the League of Nations or the United Nations, nor show mercy unto them, neither shalt thou make marriage with them. Thy daughter shall not give unto his son, nor his daughter shall thou take unto thy son, for they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Most High be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly. But thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars, and break down their images, and cut down their groves, and burn their graven images with fire. Alright, I want to get to the part where the Canaanites mixed up their seeds right quick. Hold on. This was a direct command to destroy the groves and shrines of the demon-worshipping mystery cults known as Freemasonry. The prohibition against graven images has been misunderstood by many well-meaning Christians. God did not prohibit graven images. He prohibited the obscene images of Baal and Asher, which were made to create sexual excitement as a part of their obscene rites. The battle against obscenity goes on today, although it is often seen that the American Christians are losing it. No, they've been lost it, man. You're losing it too, because you a Christian. Certainly, this is the situation which exists in the United States today. The Venetians control the Federal Reserve System. They lend to us, but we do not lend to them. They are the head, and we are the tail. He's saying we, huh? He think he in it, don't he? Having become Satan's curse on humanity, the Canaanites now spread across the earth like some evil plague. The families of the Canaanites were spread abroad. This diaspora brought troubles to every nation in which this peoples landed, and listed the racial tribes of Canaanites, denouncing them individually. Alright, we skipping past all the New Testament stuff. We just gonna get maybe one more page of this, man. I think we get it at this point. The destructive nature of the Canaanites upon their nations in which they settle is nowhere more strongly demonstrated than in Egypt, the first land to be corrupted by their barbaric practices. Originally, Baal simply meant Lord in the Canaanite language. The obscenity of the rites soon developed a popular image of Baal, which had 3 heads: the head of a cat, the head of a man, and the head of a toad. His wife, Asher, with those names, was the principal goddess of the Canaanites. She also represents the reproductive principle in nature, and in case anyone might overlook it, all of her rites were sexual observances. In Babylon, the temples of Baal and Asher were usually together. Mainly, they served as houses of prostitution in which the priestesses were prostitutes. The male priests were sodomites, who were available for the worshippers who were of that persuasion. The worship of the Canaanite gods consisted of orgies, and all their temples were known as centers of vice. They also originated voodoo ceremonies, which became the rites of observance in Ethiopia, and the Ethiopian Jethro, the tutor of Moses. Alright, man. I think we get it. Alright, they're doing the same stuff today, man. The same stuff, man. There's nothing new under the sun. Now they're trying to throw Solomon under the bus. Alright. Yeah. Let me see if there's anything else I want to get out of this chapter real quick. So yeah, we talking about the people in the background, man. All right, everything is biblical. Everything is spiritual. All right. They still holding a grudge on you to this day. They mad because they were cursed to be slaves. And I guess they didn't want to be slaves no more. All right, they get on here and they talking about Tamar. Oh yeah, Tamar, mother of Phares and Zara, had a descendant named Tamar Tefi, known in Irish legend as the daughter of Pharaoh. She married Ikashad, king of Ireland, who was known as the Prince of Scarlet Thread. Thus, the two lines of Phares and Zara were again reunited. The Scarlet Thread subsequently became an integral part of British history. A red thread is symbolically woven into every robe which is used by the Royal Navy, and every British monarch has delivered to him official documents which are wrapped with a red cord. The term also survives in red tape, that is, the official red cord, which must be unwound before any state business is transacted. There also is the red carpet, which tradition required to be unrolled before royalty walks in. So that's why the celebrities use that red carpet, man. Alright? You see what they're doing, man. It's just modern day Babylon. That's all. They know what it is. Alright, then they get to talking about Ireland. My last name is actually Irish. Yeah, man. So you want to get deeper into this book, man? Go check it out. All right, because this is just the first chapter, and it is extensive, and he goes on a lot. But the thing is, he keeps trying to graft himself in, and cleaving onto that's the thing. So you're gonna have to dodge all of that. All right, when you read this, but he does go further and further and further about the things that they're doing today. All right, these secret clubs, secret organizations, and all this shady stuff, man. I think that's all I want to get today. Thank you, Mr. Mullins. Thank you for that, sir. Alright. Now, let me see if I got anything else on here. Yeah, so the black nobility, right? Alright. Yeah. They started off like this, right? They was like this. But now today, they might still be in the background like this, but they've been whitewashed, man. Alright? You got King James, Charles V, and all that. And now today, this what you got. Alright? Yeah. But just know that they're in the background, alright? Controlling things. They think they slick. Alright, the time is just about up. Yeah, it's just about up. The gig is up. It's over, man. It's over for y'all. Alright. Let's get 2 scriptures and we out of here, y'all. Alright. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. If y'all want me to do a part 2 on this, let me know. But I'm probably going to move on to something different. I don't like to spend a whole lot of time on evil. I just wanted to bring this out and just show maybe those who don't know, you know? But I want to get it from where we at? Isaiah 29. All right. Woe to Ariel, the city where David dwelt, and ye, year to year. Let them kill sacrifices on the feast day. Yet I will distress Ariel, and there shall be heaviness and sorrow, and it shall be unto me as Ariel. And I will camp against you round about, and will lay siege against you with a mount, and I will raise forts against you. And you shall be brought down, and shall speak out of the ground, and your speech shall be low out of the dust, and your voice shall be as one that has a familiar spirit out of the ground, and your speech shall whisper out of the dust. Moreover, the multitude of your strangers shall be like small dust, and the multitude of the terrible ones shall be as chaff that passes away. Yea, it shall be at an instant suddenly. You shall be visited of Hawa with thunder, with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire. And the multitude of all nations that fight against Ariel, even all that fight against her and her munition, and that distress her, shall be as a dream of a night vision. It shall be as when a hungry man dreams, and behold, he eats, but he awakens and his soul is empty. Or as when a thirsty man dreams, and behold, he drinks, but he awakens, and behold, he is faint, and his soul has appetite. So shall the multitude of all the nations be that fight against Mount Zion. Stay yourselves and wonder, cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. For Hawa has poured out upon you the spirit, the ruach, of deep sleep, and has closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers and the seers has he covered. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of the sefer that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray you. And he says, I cannot, for it is sealed. And the sefer is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, read this, I pray you. And he says, I am not learned. Wherefore, Hawa said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is caught by the precept of men. Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder. For the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from Hawa, and their works are in the dark. And they say, who sees us? And who knows us? Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding? It's not yet a very little while, and Lebanon shall be turned into a fruitful field, and the fruitful field shall be esteemed as a forest. And in that day shall the deaf hear the words of the sefer, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness. The meek also shall increase their joy in Hawa, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel. All right, for the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproves in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. Therefore thus saith Yahweh, who redeemed Abraham, concerning the house of Jacob, Jacob shall not be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale. But when he sees his children, the work of my hands in the midst of him, they shall sanctify my name, and sanctify the Holy One of Jacob, and shall fear the Most High of Washarel, Israel. They also that erred in the Ruach shall come to understanding, and they that murmured shall learn doctrine. Alright. I got one more. Now we're going to look at them, right? Alright. This is a Canaanite artifact, I believe. Alright. Doing what they do, right? Well, we got Isaiah 59 says, behold, Yahweh's hand is not shortened, that it cannot save, neither his ear heavy, that it cannot hear. But your iniquities have separated between you and your power, and your sins have hid his face from you, that he will not hear. For your hands are defiled with blood, and your fingers with iniquity. Your lips have spoken lies, your tongue muttereth wickedness. None sueth in righteousness, and none pleadeth in truth. They trust in vanity and speak lies. They conceive mischief and bring forth iniquity. They hatch basilisk eggs and weave the spider's web. He that eateth of their eggs dieth, and that which is crushed breaketh out into a viper. Alright, talking about dragon. Their webs shall not become garments, neither shall men cover themselves with their works. Their works are works of iniquity, and the act of violence is in their hands. Their feet run to evil, and they make haste to shed innocent blood. Their thoughts are thoughts of iniquity, desolation and destruction are in their paths. The way of peace they know not, and there is no right in their goings. They have made them crooked paths. Whosoever goeth therein doth not know peace. Therefore is justice far from us, neither doth righteousness overtake us. We look for light, but behold darkness. For brightness we walk in gloom. We grope for the wall like the blind, yea, as they that have no eyes do we grope. We stumble at noonday, as in twilight. We are in dark places like the dead. We all growl like bears and mourn sore like doves. We look for the right, but there is none for salvation, but it is far from us. Alright, for our transgressions are multiplied before thee, and our sins testify against us, for our transgressions are present to us, and as for our iniquities we know them, transgressing and denying Yahweh, and turning away from following our power, speaking oppression and perverseness, conceiving and uttering from the heart words of falsehood. Alright? And justice is turned away backward, and righteousness standeth afar off. For truth hath stumbled in the broad place, and uprightness cannot enter. And truth is lacking. And he that departed from evil what happened? Just backed out? Hold up. It just backed all the way out. Hold up, backed out on the middle of my, and it turned sideways on me. Alright. Get the last bit sideways. Alright, y'all. Sorry about that. Alright. We're gonna end it right there, man. To the next one. Alright. Y'all have a good one. Love y'all. Shalom.